Hi everyone, I'm using the Wandering Star Tarot for our reading today. I'll choose 3 cards, read the base of the pack, and I'll also choose one as well from the Archangels for some extra guidance from the Archangels realms. And I'm just being drawn to Archangel Chamuel on the base of the pack, who has been stepping forward, bringing through the message that he is guiding us and helping us to find our soul purpose. So this is extra message from Archangel Chamuel, helping us to find all the disowned parts of us so that we can come into alignment with our sacred journey, bringing through unconditional love, bringing through that higher connection to our guides, our angels, but also bringing love into our lives. So beautiful message, and feeling Archangel Chamuel around us all. So thank you. So I'm setting the intention for a reading for the highest and greatest good for the collective, or anyone who views this video. So there we have 1, the 2 of Swords, 2, the Magician, and 3, the Page of Cups. So the 2 of Swords, you can see there she has these 2 swords across. She's got her hands folded across her heart, her 2 swords up, and she's blindfolded. So this is all about decisions and choices and over analysing and maybe going into battle with ourselves, some inner conflict going on with our thoughts. And as I'm tuning into this card, I'm feeling it's to do with the energy. We're on this new year. We've just moved into the new year, and society will have us making New Year's resolutions, changing our diet, getting out and exercising and running, or whatever it might be, hitting the ground a million miles an hour. But when we look outside into nature, everything's still. Everything's gone to sleep. Lots of animals hibernate during this time, and we, at the core of us, are nature. So we're being pulled to do something that inside us we don't have the energy to do. So this is about being gentle with ourselves, and I just feel this new year has come in and we are not fully integrated yet. I see the vision of a float, a raft on water, and as we place our foot on, it starts to move, the water starts to move underneath the raft, and then we have to steady ourselves before we put our other foot on, before we put our weight on the raft. And that's the energy I feel with this new year. And of course we're on the healing moon this evening, the healing moon of the full moon in Cancer. So there's a watery element there, emotions just coming to the surface. And because the moon is not as close as the super moons that we have been experiencing, it's quite a way back. So these emotions, we may feel detached from certain things or certain people in our lives. And emotions coming to the surface for us to be aware of, not go into overthinking and putting pressure on ourselves and really trying to achieve anything or set goals just yet. Because as we're doing that, we are putting pressure on. We're here and the moon is helping us to steady ourselves, because any emotions that are coming to the surface for our awareness, this moon will bring it. It's in Cancer and it's ruled by the moon. So the energies are very feminine, emotional, and the moon governs the tides. The females feel the moon. We feel the rhythms of the moon. So do males, but maybe not as apparent, and affects people's mental health. So powerful things happening with the moon, and Cancer is the mother. She's the protector, she's the nurturer, she is the creator. So we have the full moon in Cancer, which is the feminine, the mother, opposing the sun in Capricorn, that's ruled by Saturn, the father. So Cancer is the creator. She creates. And Capricorn and Saturn are the gateway to ascension. So we're in this flux, this wave of the energy bringing up within us any emotions that may be going on. And because we're on a healing moon, to sit just for maybe half an hour in silence, no guided meditation, just in silence in a quiet room, and see what comes to the surface, see what starts to rise up, because this moon is going to really bring things to the surface. And as we see the symbol of Cancer, it's the crab. So the crab is armoured, it's got a shell over its delicate body. It moves from side to side and it hides behind rocks. So it's all about security, feeling safe. So this energy that's coming up is asking us, where are we not feeling secure or safe in our life? Looking at any area of our life where we're not feeling stable, and allow it to come during this time, because this Cancer rules the home, rules the family, and the first home is the home that within this vessel. So any uncomfortable, disharmony, feelings that are going on are not creating a comfortable home, and they will ripple out into our outside world without us even realizing it. So allowing anything to come to the surface and breathing through it, allow it to work through our bodies without us jumping off the chair, thinking that we have to do something, thinking we have to be there somewhere, not giving ourselves that precious time during this immense healing light, this immensely healing energy of the Cancer moon, to nurture our inner child, so that as we start giving birth to our creations, they're not entangled with patterns of the past. They're pure. And Saturn, Capricorn, are guiding us that way, are guiding us in our ascension, through our lessons, through any challenges that we may be facing. And there are a lot of challenges. You only have to look at the healthcare system, the challenges that people are facing with their health. And as we see all these challenges occurring, whatever that brings up for us, because if it starts bringing up fear, anger, frustration, we block our immune system. So to come into the sanctuary of our innermost safe place within, and as we do that, we give the outside world, our environment, chance to come into alignment, to settle without us imprinting energy there. I hope this makes sense, because whatever energy we place into a situation or an area in our lives, that's what we are putting that energy there, and it will start to grow. We give life to it, we give a vibration to it. So as we come in and during this time of immense change that we're all going through, to come into the stillness, because in that stillness within us is the most pure healing. And the moon in the tarot is connected to the high priestess, and that's the divine feminine with Cancer, asking us to go in. We have the magic within us, we have this wisdom within us, to listen to that wisdom, to be mature emotionally, to face these emotions that may come to the surface, not be frightened of them, not fear them, not fear, to actually hold them in love. So tonight is the healing moon, time of allowing the light of the moon, and even if we can't see the moon, to bring the energy of the moon into our bodies and into our energy field, and just allow it to transmute and cleanse and dissolve any old emotions that are not just from here, they're coming from our ancestors. You'll see families have the same ways, even the same illnesses run through families. And as we dissolve these old emotions that are really not serving us, that are blocking us from our having a healthy immune system, but blocking us from all the goodness of life. So I feel this card is talking about the energy of maybe the conflicts we're placing on ourselves, maybe there's conflict going on within the family, or some kind of challenges going on within the family, because this is what this moon is helping us with. And she may have her eyes covered, but it's to see with the vision of love. Keep hold of that vision, because Pisces is, Neptune is at home in Pisces. So this is deeply spiritual, and it works with our visions. It brings us sacred visions or spiritual visions through. So if we're looking at anything out there that is causing pain, causing disharmony, to close our eyes, to send light out, into all those situations in our lives and see the light dissolving the conflicts. And as it's dissolving, feel the light dissolving it first within us, the discomfort within us, and then out into every area of our lives, flood with light. And that will help us to heal these old emotions. Then we have the Magician. So the Magician is, we have Mercury with the Sun in Capricorn. So Mercury is in retrograde. So just asking us to retrace our tracks. If our mind starts running away and we start getting lost in things, to actually let's retrace our tracks. Whatever stories we're telling ourselves, if they're not of life-giving, beautiful energies, to retrace our tracks, to let go of those stories, because this is why Mercury is in retrograde, and so is Mars. They're both saying hold back. Society may be saying go forward, set your goals, go around running around the parks and whatever. These two planets are saying come back. Now Mercury is the planet of communication, but Mars is the planet of action, and that's in retrograde. So we're being pulled back until we center ourselves, until we come into that alignment, and the cosmos is bringing this beautiful healing frequency to us to enable us to surrender and dissolve these old patterns. So Mercury, and you can see there the third eye, that she is working there with the magic of sight, of clairvoyance, of clear seeing, seeing through the illusion. Because whatever we are focusing on, we are actually, that becomes our reality, that becomes the world we live in. So the Magician is saying, come into alignment, take your time, steady yourself. There's no rush, because if we start rushing and pushing and forcing at this time, we're going to have to take longer to readjust and reassess ourselves. The cosmos, the universe is saying, we're holding you, we're holding you in divine love. We are divinely supporting you. You are a child of God, loved unconditionally by the divine, by our angels, our guides, our loved ones in spirit. We are loved unconditionally, to show ourselves that same love. And from that unconditional love, and from that peace and that stillness within, then we start seeing clearly. We do not have to prove anything to anyone else in the outside world. Nothing, no one. We know the truth of who we are. We know the truth of what lights us up, what really does bring life into our bodies, into every cell within our body. And so the Magician with Mercury saying, let's just have a look at these stories that you have been creating based on your perceptions that have been skewed because you have got these old emotions still speaking and feeling within your body, that is being internalized and coming out as a story. Let's just take a step back and stop telling ourselves that and to take full responsibility of ourselves and the energy that we're emitting, because we are all these energy emitters. And as we emit from an aligned place, from a life-giving place, then we then start to put that in our energy field. And it's at this time to be aware of what we're placing in our energy field. So the magician is saying, just don't focus on anything that's causing conflict within you. Rest, sit, let it pass through you. You don't have to react with everything. And when we do sit in that place and into that stillness, we respond. And we actually surprise ourselves at what happens when we do come from that place of centeredness and a response instead of an old emotional reaction. So we're at this doorway of this new year. The energy's flowing in. There's been no spikes. It's just these waves. That's how I'm feeling it. These waves that are manageable, and because we've done all the work in the past years, maybe that's why the waves, maybe that's why it's manageable, because we've done the work and we can manage these waves now, and we're taking off old expectations of ourselves we place on ourselves, or what anybody else may place on us. We're taking all that off now, and that's been a heavy garment to carry. We're letting it go, coming in. And this is the Magician. This is the card of January. It's the number 1. So from this place, this is where we're going to start weaving our magic, to really not rush it. It's so precious. It's so important that we don't rush it. Take our time with it. And then the Page of Cups, these new guides coming in, helping us and assisting us. And maybe that's part of the energy that we're feeling, that they're tapping into us. We're learning how to communicate. We're listening to the guidance. And they are bringing this is prosperity. That cup is, the fish is prosperity, it's wisdom. So we're having some spiritual wisdom coming through, messages from Spirit coming through. And as we clear these emotions and stop telling ourselves those old stories, we have the clarity, we have the peace to be able to take in these messages, to hear them. Also, this is love, and the page keeps stepping forward, and it has been doing, it's female in this card, but has been doing for a while now, reminding us that we're new energy, new sacred energy, and not new in a way that it's young, new in a way that it's steeped in divine wisdom. It's steeped into ancient wisdom, and we are now tapping into it. We're moving and tapping into these new wavelengths. And also the Page of Cups is bringing love as we start to really honour ourselves and honour everyone in our lives. We draw love to us. And also this is a card of magic, of that sacredness, of that spiritual connection, pure magic. So wonderful cards talking about the energy and really helping us to connect within, if anything, that may need to be dissolved, this full moon, and there we have the moon. Again, this is the, speaking of the moon energy coming in, that's confirmation of everything. And the moon is where, you know, it shines on the shadows for us to see. And that's what they are, shadows. And once the sun comes out and shines, those shadows dissolve. And this is what I feel with the sun and the moon. The sun in Capricorn and the moon in Cancer. I just feel that these shadows are being dissolved now, if we choose. So the moon is there, deep intuition. Listen to our intuition. Listen to those divine messages that come through with such love, and that come through that have got no fear connected with them, don't cause any anxiety, actually brings relief. So this is the moon coming through, and she just reminds me of the High Priestess coming into that intuition. The two pillars that the High Priestess sits, and there's the moon and the sun. She's in the center, and she sees through the veil. And then the King of Wands and the Hierophant and the Empress and the Sun. So beautiful, and the Queen of Wands. So beautiful cards. These cards are carrying on, speaking to us of hold that vision, hold it, regardless of what's going on. Hold the vision of freedom, of what creates an expansive feeling inside you. If you have a vision that causes you to go into contraction, because remember, we're in Cancer, the female, so it's the ebb and flow. It's like the contractions of a rebirth. If you're going into a contracted state, sit. Don't go into fear, because you become tight. Sit and breathe and know that you're safe. Know that you're divinely supported. So I'm asking now for a message from the Archangel Well for some guidance on this healing moon for the highest and greatest good. For anyone who views this video, we have Archangel Michael. Remember who you are. To say as Archangel Chamuel, and Archangel Michael is also on the base. Archangel Michael, remember who you are. You're a child of God. You're created from divine magic. And if you look at the miracle of childbirth, the miracle of conception, that's how divinely powerful we are. Powerful in love, not power over people. Power in our divine connection, that we're all meant to be here. Archangel Michael is asking us to remember that. And he is with each and every one of us, guiding us through this time. And asking us to have those crystal clear intentions. Stay in that focus, that focus we've got there. Not getting lost into the storyline outside. Coming into our hearts, into our family, into our home within. With crystal clear intention. And that's not setting goals for 6 months or whatever. If that's what you do, that's fine. But if you're not feeling it, it's not to do that. It's to remind us that every second of every day we are creating. whether we're creating from love, whether we are creating from fear, but we are creating. And to be clear about that, to hold the vision with love that uplifts us. And as we come into this new year, everything lines up for us to move into, not trying to force things in to control anything. So Archangel Michael is asking us to have unwavering faith either side of us. These two cards, the top and the bottom, letting us know whatever may be going on, we are divinely protected and we will be guided into the most loving relationships, into the most loving career, into the most loving environments. To let go of the worry and the fear, because that is not creating a loving environment. So call on Archangel Michael and Archangel Chamuel as he's stepping forward. He's helping us on our soul path, reclaiming all those parts of us that are coming up now for healing. And Archangel Michael, with that light of truth shining, that divine light of truth, that things are being shown all around us. We don't need to make the story. Let it all observe and let it all play out without getting entangled, because we're being drawn and drawn and drawn back into that third dimensional matrix. And as we come back in and know that we are divinely supported, we are divinely protected, taking some time out on this healing moon this evening to write and burn on anything that may come to the surface, any pressure that we're putting on ourselves, any conflict, anything that may be coming up, to acknowledge it, to write and burn on it, to sit in that place of peace, allow it to come to the surface without running away from it, without creating stories that are connected with it. And that will shift so many blocks, ready for us to step fully into this new and wonderful year, which is very sacred. It's very sacred. So I'm sending so much love, and I will take the cards so that was 2, 3, 4. The angels, the angels are helping us. Call on them for their assistance. And I know we always do, but sometimes we may forget and go off into a state in our heads. Call on the angels, call on Archangel Michael. And as soon as Archangel Michael comes, you feel the strength, you feel that courage, you feel that empowerment, and you know he's coming through loud and clear and letting us all know that we are protected. So don't go into fear at this vital time. Stay focused on being divinely supported, divinely protected, because we are. So I'm sending so much love. Have a wonderful, wonderful healing moon. And I'm sending so much love and healing to anyone who needs it at this time. And thank you so much for listening. God bless. Thank you.